Hello, I'm Mrs. Alcorn and I'm excited to be here today with you. Before we get started on our math lesson, we're going to begin with some mindfulness. We're going to get our body to calm, alert, and ready to learn. And to do that, we're going to practice the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 counting principle, which is called grounding. It's going to help us get focused and be mindful. And so we're going to start with that right now with some deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. So first is number 5. We're going to acknowledge 5 things that are around you in your room right now. Maybe it's a pillow, a blanket, maybe you're looking at your window. Number 4, we're going to acknowledge 4 things that you can touch in your room. Again, maybe it's a blanket, the carpet, the couch. So go ahead and acknowledge 4 things. Number 3, 3 things you can hear. I can hear a bird chirping. Maybe I hear my siblings playing in the other room. So go ahead and acknowledge 3 things. Number 2 is 2 things you can smell. Maybe you smell someone baking in the kitchen. Maybe you smell laundry detergent on your blanket. And last, 1 thing you can taste. Hopefully all of you guys have brushed your teeth, so maybe you can taste that toothpaste. Great job. Let's practice our breathing in and breathing out. One last time, breathing in and breathing out. You guys did a great job. We should be calm, alert, and ready to learn for our math lesson today. And I'd like to introduce my partner. This is Miss Weinzapfel. She is a teacher at Tompkins Middle School. And again, I'm Miss Alcorn, and I work at the EVSC building in the Office of Academic Affairs. I know you're dying to know what your word of the day is, and the word of the day is robot. So please make sure that you write that down. Before we get started, you need to make sure that you have a piece of paper, something to write with, and a calculator. It could be a calculator on your phone. Don't get distracted with those text messages or TikTok. So make sure you get something like that, or a good old-fashioned calculator will work, or some of you may even use your Chromebook. So we'll give you a couple seconds to get that stuff organized, and then we're going to get into an awesome lesson today.
Thank you, Mrs. Alcorn. Again, I am Mrs. Tonya Weinzapfel, and I teach at Tompkins Middle School 7th and 8th grade math. We're going to talk today about the counting principle. So our objective is that we're going to use a tree diagram or something called the fundamental counting principle. And we're going to use that fundamental counting principle to then help us find the probability of an event. So we're going to learn 2 ways of doing the same thing today. That is our objective.
And you're going to have 2 teachers. Both of us have used hand sanitizer today, I promise. And we're going to keep some spatial distance, but we will be using the board together. And we used to teach together a long time ago when we missed it so much we wanted to bring that to you guys today. So thanks for being with us, and let's get ready to learn.
All right. So our first thing we're going to look at today is how many different lunches, because I know that that is a priority right now, that's essential, is to get our lunch.
Absolutely.
How many different lunches can be made from the following items in your refrigerator? So what we have here is you have your choices of bread and meats that we're going to look at first. So if I'm choosing white bread, I can then look at, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. I can look at, I could choose ham, or I could choose turkey, or I could choose chicken. So as it is right now, I have 3 different types of sandwiches that I could be having for lunch.
Interesting. Well, I noticed, Ms. Weinzapfel, that you placed the word hoagie on the board today, and I wasn't quite positive what it was, so I went to Schnucks, and they gave me a beautiful loaf of hoagie bread, which looks very amazing. Highly recommend that you guys try that during your lunch time at home. And so I'm going to take a look at my options for the hoagie bread. Looks like I have ham, turkey, which is my personal favorite, and chicken. So if I'm correct, Ms. Weinzapfel, that looks like 3 choices for hoagie, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, so if we were just wanting a sandwich for lunch now, it looks like we have 6 different types of sandwiches to choose from. But who wants just to eat a sandwich?
Not me.
Not
I
me
like
either.
the sides.
Yes. So now I'm going to throw in that I could have a choice of a side of either a yogurt or some chips of some sort.
Okay.
So I'm going to change colors. Okay. So from the ham then, if it's white with ham on white, then I could have yogurt and I could have chips.
Oh, lots of options here.
Yes. So I could have white sandwich with ham on it and a yogurt, or I could have white ham sandwich with chips. If I chose turkey, it's going to be the same different choices of my yogurt or chips. So now I have 2 different options of lunches with a turkey sandwich on white. And then, same thing again here. So it looks like now just with the white bread on my sandwich, choosing the lunch meat that I want, I would have 1 here, another one there, there's 2, here's 3, 4, 5, 6 different choices.
Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit easier.
Okay.
I don't want to have to write out yogurt and chips every single time.
Totally
so
get
I'm
that.
going to abbreviate the yogurt and make it a Y, and the chips I'm going to make it a C. You guys at home, you guys can do whatever is most comfortable for you. So same thing here. I've got my hoagie bread, my ham, and I can select either a yogurt or a chip, go down to turkey, yogurt, chip, chicken, yogurt, chip. So I liked what Ms. Weinzapfel did. She went through and she just counted those with me. So let's count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 options for the hoagie. Ms. Weinzapfel, you said
I had
6
also.
options. So together, do we put that together or do we not put that together? What do you think?
We put that together.
Okay. So if I put that together, we typically add 6 plus 6 equals 12. Friends, with white bread, hoagie bread, 3 meats, and 2 sides, you have 12 options.
That's a lot of options.
How many days have we been on COVID?
Well, March 13th is
Okay.
what's our, Friday the 13th was our last day of
Right.
school.
So that's at least 30 some odd days,
yes,
correct?
yes, correct.
12 options out of those 30 days.
You got a lot of
A
choices.
lot of choices with 2 bread styles. Yep.
So let's look at another example. Okay, and we're going to start with a clean slate here.
Oh no.
Yeah,
How am
this
I
is-
going to organize this?
And another big choice, trying to figure out what you're going to wear in this stay-at-home type of situation. So how many different outfits could you choose from in your closet? Well, let's start with, we'll do again a picture here, a visual with our tree diagram. So I have an option here of, we're going to call that pants. So what I'm going to put on down here, I have an option of either, because we're getting into warm weather, which I love, shorts, sweatpants, not so much a fan because that means that it's cold outside.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 options to start with there.
Okay.
You want to look at shirts?
Yeah, so I'm a little overwhelmed with how to organize this.
Okay.
Do you think I should put it right here in the middle, or do you think I should just like capture it off like we did the yogurt?
I think you can do that.
Okay. So let's do that. Again, t-shirts, my personal favorite, although I am wearing a polo for you guys, but at home I would be wearing a t-shirt.
For sure.
T-shirt and a polo. Ooh,
Excellent.
we've got some options here.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We've got our pants, and then our second thing that we chose from here, those were shirts.
Okay.
And now I need to put some footwear on. So, because I'm going to go outside. Let's see. So for shoes now, it looks like I have, and I'm going to use what Mrs. Alcorn used, which was I'm going to go T for tennis shoes.
Oh, nice.
And
Make it
F for flip-flop. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go same thing with the polo here, t-shirt or tennis shoes rather, and then flip-flop. Okay? All right. And then you want to finish up with the sweatpants?
So sweatpants, if I wear sweatpants with a t-shirt, I could pick tennis shoes or a flip-flop. Might look a little silly with flip-flops, but you know, right now, who cares? Polo, t-shirt, or flip-flop. And I see a lot of options again.
Yeah.
Breaking off, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's what I got. Yeah.
Okay.
8.
Now,
Perfect.
I'm a very visual person. I love to see this, but what if we had so many options and we don't have a lot of time? Because I really want to go outside and play right now. I really don't want to have to write all this out. Ms. Weinzapfel, I know you're super smart. How do you break this down?
Well, I'm glad that you asked.
Okay.
And there actually is an easier way.
Boom. I knew it.
Okay, yes. So we'll take those examples that we just did and thinking back to the choices of bread that we had.
Okay.
There were 2.
Yep. Hoagie, white.
Got
Yep.
it. There were 3 choices of meat
Ham, chicken, turkey. Yes.
and 2 sides.
Yogurt, chips.
And the outcomes that we ended up figuring out there, the total different options we had was 12, right?
It was. But we did a lot of branching.
We did a
to get
lot
there.
of, we made our trees. Yes, we did. We had lots of branches. But if we take 2 times 3 times 2, 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 2 is
Oh, money.
12.
That was a lot easier.
Lots easier.
Okay. Can I try to apply it to
For
our
sure.
last activity?
That is your fundamental or your basic counting principle right there.
Okay.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so I like to underline things when I'm working. So I'm going to underline the numbers that I see. I see a 2, which goes with the pants. I see a 2, which goes with the shirts, and a 2 that went with the shoes. This isn't a period. This is actually multiplication. And
Correct.
I think I probably better put a multiplication sign in just so I don't get confused.
Gotcha.
And I had 3 numbers. So if I fill that in and I pull the 2 down, I'm going to pull this 2 down and this 2 down. Oh man, I sure hope it equals what we had on the other slide. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8.
Bam.
And that is exactly
Same thing.
a lot easier.
Lot easier.
A lot easier. And it's a good way to check your work.
For sure. Totally.
Okay. So let's apply it to a good old-fashioned penny and a dime. That is something that we all have in our home, and I don't know if you guys like to flip a penny and a dime for a heads and tails, but that's something that you can do. So we went ahead for you to save some time, and we broke it down. So heads, tails for the penny, heads and tails for the dime, and here's the different outcomes that came together. So quite a few different outcomes, and how many do you see, Ms. Weinzapfel?
Well, I'm looking at this and I am seeing, and we'll use the abbreviation method that you introduced us to, that I see 1, 2, 3, 4 total outcomes.
And that it's just a way to break it out using that tree diagram, but I love to save time, so let's take a look at how you can do that with this same principle.
Okay, going back to, so we have our chart here, our tree diagram, and I identified that we did have 4, in fact, here. And the fundamental counting principle, using this with the penny, a penny you have choices, outcomes of either heads or tails. And with a dime, also heads or tails. So that would be your 2 outcomes here and your 2 outcomes here. And 2 times 2 is 4. And you have 4 total right here. Now, the question that was asked regarding probability is, what is the probability of tails on a penny and then heads on a dime? So for tails on the penny and heads on the dime, there's only one way that that's going to happen out of a total of 4. So the probability, that's what this notation is right here. That P there means probability of tails and then heads, so it is 1 out of 4 or 1/4.
Man, we're even getting into fractions today,
Ooh,
kids.
yes, yes.
Woo!
And then I'm going to go one step further.
Oh, Lord, here she
Yeah,
goes.
yeah.
She's such a mathematician.
1/4, if you have a quarter, That is 25 cents. And 25 cents would be 25 out of 100. That's 1/4. Or just a little percent review, 25%. Oh, wait, I'm excited. Let's throw a decimal in there too. Same, all the same. Okay. I've been in my house too long.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we know that you guys love Netflix, and you're probably watching quite a bit of it these days. I'm glad you're watching us today in WNIN. There's lots of choices. It's a little bit overwhelming for me, but I do know that I need some downtime. I just need to watch a show. So I would like to know how many different outcomes that I would have if I was watching a TV show and then a movie. So we get on Netflix and we actually look at that. It was 1,569 different TV show options and 4,010 movies. I don't know about you guys, but I do not believe today I'm going to be able to do a tree diagram. We have a beautiful tree right here, but not enough space to do a tree diagram for this problem. What was that quick trick that you had?
It's using the fundamental counting principle.
Okay.
So I'm a Netflix fan, and I just finished All American. Totally awesome if you have the time after you've done all your schoolwork. The TV shows here, that would be my first choice, because the question is how many different outcomes that you could get if you watched a TV show and then a movie.
Let's underline TV show.
Okay, TV show.
Thank you. That makes me feel better.
Okay.
Oh, and movie.
And movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at the TV shows here.
Boom.
1,569 times.
There's that. That is so important that we multiply, not divide, not add, not subtract.
And then 4,010.
And she got that information from right there. This is when you get out that calculator, friends, because that is probably not something you can do in your head. I'm going to go ahead and get that out. Let's see who can beat the other one. Oh, whoa.
That's a lot of options.
That sure is.
And I sure would not want to, thank you because it went away, I would not want to try and make all the branches on the tree with that.
No
No way, no way.
And depending how long we're off for COVID-19, that might be something you could actually do.
It's a possibility. We're hoping that does not happen. The probability of that happening.
We've been doing a lot of math today.
Yes, we have.
I think it's your turn.
For sure.
So it's time to get that paper out. Miss Weinzapfel, what do you want them to do?
Okay, this is your first problem right here. Use the counting principle to find the number of possible outcomes. Then draw a tree diagram to show, because the tree diagram gives you a list, a visual representation of what you're looking at. The counting principle is very quick and easy, but that only gives you your total number of outcomes.
Okay.
All right?
So I heard 2 tasks. Tree diagram, the long one, counting principle, the shorter one.
Correct.
Let's see if they can do it.
All right, and here are your choices of pi, and then you have choice of t. Change that. And we'll give you some music. And at the end of the music, we will check our answer. our
You guys did a
answer.
really good job. I could tell you guys were working hard. And whoa, Miss Weinzapfel, look at all these options.
Yes, so we have the fundamental counting principle here, so we know we have 6 outcomes, and this is then the visual representation of it. This is your tree diagram. So this is what's going to be helpful for you to be able to figure out the probability of these things occurring. I know that everything is going to be out of 6, but I need to look at what my probability question is for each one of these. And it is probability of apple pie and tea. And Mrs. Alcorn, how many do you see of that up there?
See one.
I see 1 as well. So that would be 1 out of 6 would be my probability on that.
Okay.
Probability of coffee. With coffee, I see 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 2 out of 6.
I think we can reduce that, right?
You bet.
Okay, because they both have something in common with them, and it's 2. Mm-hmm. So we would divide by 2 on top, divide by 2 on bottom, and we should come out with 1/3. Excellent.
You got it. And then the probability of pie.
Whoa, there's a lot of options of pie.
6 out of 6, right?
Yes, which I know my math teacher told me something important about that. I think that equals a whole.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the probability of selecting pie is going to be 1. That is for sure going to happen. But having apple pie and tea, only 1/6. Having pie, or the probability of coffee, you have 1/3.
Okay.
All right, so what we have here, you don't have to worry about the tree diagram this time.
Get out your calculator.
Calculator is going to be necessary in your pencil and paper. So you're using your fundamental counting principle on this one, no tree diagram. How many outcomes are possible? And what you're going to do is match your answers by dragging them, but I know that you can't do that. But we want you to answer these questions here. So you're looking at 3 entrees, 3 drinks, and 4 desserts. And to get you started, just so you can remember what we're doing, 3 choices of the entree, 3 of the drinks, and 4 desserts.
Nice.
3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 4 is
36.
36. Oh, I have that answer right here. So that's what you're going to be doing to finish the rest of these.
Okay.
Okay. So checking your answers right here. And what we did today to reinstate our objective was the counting principle is what we learned today. And we had that with the visual of the tree diagram so you could see all of the outcomes.
Very good. You guys did a great job. We really appreciate it. Just a reminder that your code word for this activity is robot. You can practice the counting principle at home, practice with your clothes, practice with pants, and those of you who have multiple masks, you could even practice with your face masks that you guys are using for COVID. We miss you all so much. Thank you for being with us today, and we hope that you learned a lot.
Be safe and go outside when you get a chance.